everyone. Welcome to our fourth session in the Bible study series based on C.S. Lewis's The Four Loves. Today we're diving into a topic that many find both fascinating and complex: Eros, or romantic love. Eros is the love that draws us into deep, passionate relationships, the love that often begins with a spark of attraction and grows into a longing for intimacy and unity with another person. While Eros is a beautiful and powerful form of love, it's also one that requires guidance and boundaries to truly flourish as God's intended. So let's explore what Eros means and how it's portrayed in the Bible, and how we can approach romantic love in a way that honors God. Eros, as C.S. Lewis explains, is often what we think of when we hear the word love. It's the romantic and often physical attraction that pulls two people together. But Eros is more than just physical desire. It's an emotional connection with each other, a deep yearning to be with the other person. To know them fully and to be known fully is in return. So unlike storge, which is the love of familiarity, or philia, the love of friendship, Eros is a love that seeks oneness. It's a love that longs for unity. But as Lewis warns, Eros can also become distorted. When it becomes an obsession, or when it's pursued outside of God's design, it can lead to heartaches and spiritual disconnection. The Bible acknowledges the power and beauty of Eros. One of the most vivid portrayals of romantic love can be found in the Song of Solomon, a celebration of love between a man and a woman. Here, love is described as a powerful force, strong as death and as unyielding as the grave. Let's read Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verses 6 and 7 together. Place me like a seal over your heart, like a seal on your arm, for love is as strong as death, as jealous, unyielding as the grave. It burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame. Many waters cannot quench love. Rivers cannot sweep it away. This passage captures the intensity of Eros, the kind of love that burns within us and drives us toward deep connection. But the Bible also provides guidance on how to navigate this powerful emotion. For instance, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 4-7, as the famous one, we're reminded that love, true love, is patient, kind, and selfless. And Eros, when guided by these principles, becomes not just a fleeting passion, but a lasting, meaningful bond. So with this thoughts and understandings, if we have some discussions together with a discussion questions, I think it'll be very helpful. Now let's consider some important questions about Eros in our own lives. As we discuss these, I'll provide some insights based on C.S. Lewis's work and biblical teachings. The first question is this: how does Eros differ from the other types of love? Different types of love we have discussed. Eros differs from storge, philia, and agape in its nature. And storge is the love of familiarity, often seen in families. And philia is the love of friendship, a bond between equals. And agape is selfless, unconditional love. But Eros, however, is romantic love. It's deeply emotional, often compassionate, and passionate and seeks unity with another person in a way that is unique to romantic relationships. So while Eros can involve physical attraction, it is primarily an emotional connection that desires oneness with the beloved. And the second question is this: what are some healthy ways to express Eros love in a Christian relationship? I think it is a very important aspect to look into it. In a Christian context, Eros should be expressed within the commitment of marriage, where it can flourish in a healthy, God-honoring way. That is what C.S. Lewis is suggesting, and also commitment of marriage or commitment is important in it. Healthy Eros involves mutual respect, of course, selflessness, and an understanding that romantic love is a gift from God to be cherished. And couples should also communicate openly, set boundaries, and keep Christ at the center of their relationship to ensure that Eros remains pure and uplifting. I remember doing wedding one time, and I have done it only once, but it is mainly our United Methodist Church Book of Worship wedding is mainly understanding the unity in Jesus Christ. So as a Christian relationship, I think it is very preferred and very suggested. It is between the commitment of marriage, but also a very important aspect is that Jesus should be the center of that unity as well. And the third question is this: how can Eros become distorted? And what can we do to prevent this? I think it's an important question as well. Eros can become distorted when it is pursued outside of marriage and becomes obsessive or is valued above all other types of love, including agape. So C.S. Lewis suggests this like this, and I have summarized it like this. To prevent this, it's important to keep Eros in perspective, recognizing that while it is a beautiful part of love, it is not the whole of love. Engaging in regular prayer, of course, seeking guidance from Scripture as Christians, and maintaining accountability in relationship can help keep Eros aligned with God's will. So sometimes we think of it as an instinct, but it is more of understanding our relationship with each other, but also the relationship between you, your couple, and God. So it is important to understand the fact that it is very heavily dependent on understanding the role of God, that it can be maintained healthy. And the fourth question that I brought is: what role does Eros play in a healthy marriage or committed relationship? Eros plays a significant role in fostering intimacy and emotional connection in marriage, as C.S. Lewis has suggested. It is the love that brings excitement and compassion to the relationship. However, it should be balanced with agape. I think it is really important as a married man understanding the unconditional love part as well, agape. And philis as well, as we have talked about, the friendship, which could be very related to Eros, between philia, between men and women or other genders, to create a well-rounded and enduring partnership. There's a very many understanding and advices to the married couples or relationships. So I think that's kind of like seeking that love of agape and also philia going together into that relationship. And I think it is very important to understand that as to maintain and have this partnership with each other. So when Eros is nurtured within the context of a healthy marriage, it can bring joy and deepen the bond between spouses and partners. So I think that is important aspect as well. So, what can we take away from today's session is that in your own life, think about how you can honor God in your romantic relationships. This would include your partner, this would include your wife or husband, this would include your family members, your in-laws, asking them how is their relationships. Well, it is different from each culture or family culture, but it is very important to understand this concept of Eros is not just a physical, but emotionally connecting as one is the important part of Eros. And I think it's perhaps of understanding this relationship with each other, but including our faith life is also an important aspect of this love as well. Perhaps it's by setting healthy boundaries with each other, or maybe it's by seeking God's guidance before making decisions that affect your relationships. So Eros is understanding is Eros is a gift of God, but like all gifts, it needs to be used wisely. I think that's the most important part when we understand Eros. And I think C.S. Lewis has given us a many understanding of Eros as a way of connecting with each other and being one unity. I think between the loves that we have talked about, storge and philia, I think Eros seems like a very combination of both. We have chosen our lover, beloved, by our choice. That brings the philia aspect as well. But also, as they become a family, to bring a family, it becomes a way of philia as well. So I think it's a very interesting way to understand Eros, is that it is not just the physical thing, but also related to the loves that we have talked about. As I had mentioned, it also connects with agape as well. So this is a more of overall understanding of love comes together and combined together that can be applied in a right way. C.S. Lewis is kind of like very professor-like. He was a professor, so it's like that, but it is more of cautiously talking about each love, of how distorted love could be dangerous. I think it is very vividly shown in this chapter as well. So it is important for us to understand Eros in a right way as a Christian, and as we have relationship with God, and as we look into our relationship with each other, we should also think about the relationship with God and how God connects us, how God unites us in Jesus Christ will be a good approach into Eros. So as we wrap up, remember that Eros is one part of the rich tapestry of love that God has woven into our lives. It's powerful, it's passionate, but most importantly, it's meant to be a reflection of God's love for us. Let's strive to honor God in all our relationships. So thank you for joining us for this session. I hope it's given you a little bit of understanding of Eros, what we have talked about. And I really am hoping to hear from you about your one sentence that you got from our book. I know it's a difficult book for us, and it's difficult for me as well. So I hope we would be able to share our one sentences with each other and why you thought it was important. That would bring us more discussions and thoughts together. So if you have any questions, if you want to have more sessions upon Eros, please reach out to me once again, then we can definitely have another time to talk about Eros as well. So may God bless you as you seek to love others in a way that truly reflects God's love for us. See you in the next session. Take care. Bye-bye.